We'll call our meeting to order. This is a regular meeting of the Mayor and Borough Council for Seaside Park County, Goshen State of New Jersey, held on Thursday, October 26, 2023, advertised to begin at the conclusion of the work session meeting, which has just now ended. Pursuant to the provisions of New Jersey's Open Public Meetings Act, adequate notice of this meeting was properly provided by transmitting notice of the meeting for publication in the Asbury Park Press and the Star Ledger, January 4th, 2023. Notice of this meeting of the governing body also has been posted in the corridor of the municipal building and in the office of the municipal clerk. Roll call.
Thank you. Councilmember Amadou?
Present.
Councilmember Condos? Here. Councilmember Dr. McHugh?
Here.
Councilmember Kraft?
Here.
Councilmember Welch?
Here.
Council President DeMichael?
Here.
Mayor Peterson?
Here.
Thank you.
Let us all now rise for a moment of silence to be followed by a pledge of allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
The next item on the agenda is the minutes, and those minutes for approval are October 12th, 2023, a work session, and October 12th, 2023, a regular meeting. Any comments, questions, or if not, a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve, Mayor.
Second.
Motion by Council President DeMichael, seconded by Dr. McHugh. Roll call.
Council President DeMichael?
Yes.
Councilmember Dr. McHugh?
Yes.
Councilmember Kraft?
Yes.
Councilmember Condos? Yes. Councilmember Welch?
Yes.
Councilmember Amadou?
Yes.
Motion approved.
Next on the agenda is final reading and adoption. It's ordinance 22312, appropriating $45,721 for the acquisition of water capital equipment.
This is the truck that we actually ordered back in 21, improved it. Back then, there weren't trucks to be had. Something to do with maybe a computer chip or something, I don't know, we couldn't order them. So now, it's finally coming past, we can get the truck, so that's what we're doing. Did this 2 years ago, same truck, we need it,
And the money was encumbered, most of the money was already encumbered in 2021.
absolutely.
Any other questions, comments from council? Hearing none, I'll go into the audience for any questions or comments about final reading and adoption ordinance 22312. If anyone has them, if they could give their name and address in the record. Seeing none, I would close the public portion and I'd entertain a motion from the council.
I'll make the motion, Mayor.
Second.
Motion by Council President DeMichael, second by Councilmember Kraft. Roll call.
Council President DeMichael?
Yes.
Councilmember Kraft?
Yes.
Councilmember Dr. McHugh?
Yes.
Councilmember Welch?
Yes.
Councilmember Condos? Yes. Councilmember Amadou?
Yes.
Motion approved.
The next is final reading and adoption, ordinance 22313, amending chapter 225 of the Code of the Borough of Seaside Park entitled Fees. And specifically, these fees are applicable to modifications and putting in place the program in terms of memorial plaques and donations from various members of the community and in memory of others and otherwise for families. So thank everyone in the committee for all the work, research into this matter, and those outside the committee who also gave input that was very valuable in terms of this program, which everyone's been working for some period of time. Any council input?
Just say also an acknowledgement to DPW and all the work and the contributions that were made by them as well to make sure that this was something that we could actually operationalize and sustain. and that didn't put more burden on them than the value would have.
I guess we also looked at other towns to see what they had, just to make sure that, we were covering all the bases.
Great. Anything else from council? If not, we'll go into the audience. Any public comments on final reading and adoption ordinance 223-13? If anyone has them, if they give their name and address into the record. Seeing none, I would close the public portion, and I'd entertain a motion from the council.
So moved, Mayor.
Motion by Council President DeMichael, second by Councilmember Dr. McHugh. Roll call.
Council President DeMichael,
Yes.
Councilmember Dr. McHugh,
Yes.
Councilmember Welk,
Yes.
Councilmember Kraft,
Yes.
Councilmember Condos.
Yes.
Councilmember Anfield.
Yes.
Motion approved.
The next item is first reading and introduction ordinance 223-14, an ordinance of the Borough of Seaside, Park County, Ocean, State of New Jersey, providing for the construction of a well in the borough and appropriating $2,600,000 therefore, and authorizing the issuance of $2,600,000 in bonds or notes of the Borough of Seaside Park to finance the cost thereof.
We were gonna do, we got one estimate through, one engineer, and it wasn't real complete, but, it seems like, this particular engineering firm does a good job, works well with our water department, and so we asked them for a quote, and that's what these numbers are based upon. This basically just appropriates the money and authorizes us to issue those funds through bonds or notes as the project moves forward.
Very good. Anything else from council? If not, is there a motion for first reading?
I'll make the motion, Mayor.
Motion by Council President DeMichael, second by Council Member Dr. McHugh. Roll call.
Council President DeMichael,
Yes.
Councilmember Dr. McHugh.
Yes.
Councilmember Kraft.
Yes.
Councilmember Condos.
Yes.
Councilmember Welk.
Yes.
Councilmember Anfield.
Yes.
Motion approved.
And item D is first reading and introduction. It's ordinance 223-15, capital ordinance of the Borough of Seaside, Park County, Ocean, State of New Jersey, appropriating $1,041,000 for Decatur Avenue Water Tower.
This is something that we know has been coming around for a while. We painted and refurbished the water tower on 13th, 12th, 13th. Gosh, it doesn't seem that long ago, but it's probably been 5 years. I don't remember. But it has been, it's relatively recent past. Now, the water tower on the north end of town needs work. We've been putting aside some money as time has gone by. In the past few years, we've been putting aside money, sort of not quite a sinking fund, you wouldn't call it that, but these monies are now available for us to, and that's just about what we think it's going to cost for this water tower. And these are monies that have already been taken out of the tax base. So that's what this is about.
Anything else from council? If not, I'd entertain a motion for first reading.
I'll make.
Motion by Councilmember Dr. McHugh, second by Councilman Wilk. Roll call.
Councilmember Dr. McHugh.
Yes.
Councilmember Welk.
Yes.
Councilmember Condos.
Yes.
Councilmember Kraft.
Yes.
Councilmember Anfield.
Yes.
Council President DeMichael.
Yes.
Motion approved.
And item 7 on the agenda, Resolution 223-288, entails the cancellation of fully funded appropriation balances under certain bond ordinances previously adopted by the Borough of Seaside Park for capital improvement projects in the amount of $68,550.61. And that followed up the work session item entailed of funded, or strike that, old ordinances from 2013, and those would be utilized in terms of the ongoing Bayfront project until the American Liberal Society, in conjunction with the Stockton Coastal Institute, and estimate included with the potential for an SAB mitigation plan. Any other comments from council? If not, a motion?
So moved, Mayor.
Motion by Councilmember Kraft,
I'll second it.
second by Councilmember Wolf. Roll call.
Councilmember Kraft?
Yes.
Councilmember Welch?
Yes.
Councilmember Almaguer?
Yes.
Councilmember Condos?
Yes.
Councilmember Dr. McHugh?
Yes.
Council President DeMichael?
Yes.
Motion approved.
And related to the motion just approved as first reading and introduction, it's ordinance 22316, the capital ordinance of the Borough of Seaside Park, County of Ocean, State of New Jersey, appropriating the $68,500 for the Bayside flood mitigation and the SAV and project as well. And that, as per the recommendation of the CFO, had to come in the particular order just listed on the agenda. Any other questions, comments from council? If not, any motion?
I'll make the motion.
First reading, motion by Council President DeMichael,
Second.
second by Councilmember Condos. Roll call.
Council President DeMichael?
Yes.
Councilmember Condos?
Yes.
Councilmember Welch?
Yes.
Councilmember Kraft?
Yes.
Councilmember Dr. McHugh?
Yes.
Councilmember Almaguer?
Yes.
Motion approved.
Next on the agenda are authorizations. There's an event, South Jersey Kite Flyers, the date November 5th, 12 noon to 4 p.m., location O Street Boardwalk Pavilion. The motion, or any
Yeah,
other?
let's get, yeah, I'll make the motion.
Motion by
To accept, yeah.
Council President DeMichael, second by Councilmember Dr. McHugh. Roll call.
Council President DeMichael?
Yes.
Councilmember Dr. McHugh?
Yes.
Councilmember Kraft?
Yes.
Councilmember Welch?
Yes.
Councilmember Condos?
Yes.
Councilmember Almaguer?
Yes.
Motion approved.
Next item were payment of claims, the bill list from October 13th to October 26th, 2023. Any questions, comments from any council member? If not, any motion?
So moved, Mayor.
Motion by Councilmember Kraft,
Second.
second by Council President DeMichael. Roll call.
Councilmember Kraft?
Yes.
Council President DeMichael?
Yes.
Councilmember Welch?
Yes.
Councilmember Condos?
Yes.
Councilmember Dr. McHugh?
Yes.
Councilmember Almaguer?
Yes.
Motion approved.
The next is the resolution list. I'll read in summary fashion. 275 is a resolution rejecting the J Street Community Center bids, and in reality, there was the one bid as per the discussion at the work session, with the bid coming in significantly over that which had been estimated, and the determination to move forward with the interior work first, and then as the grant allows as well. Second, a resolution rescinding a recreation petty cash fund. 277, a resolution rescinding a finance department petty cash fund. 278, a petty cash fund in monetary amount for the Department of Public Works. 279, establishing a petty cash fund for beach control. All of those resolutions as per recommendation from our CFO. The 280 is designating specific dates for observance of holidays and establishing a holiday schedule for the Borough of Seaside Park employees for the year 2024. 281, urging the appointing authority in the state of New Jersey to choose a resident of Ocean County to sit on the NJBPU as per the discussion at the work session. 282, authorizing 2023 raffle license applications, RL 202306 and RL 202307. 283, authorizing the designated miscellaneous refunds for use of facility fees. 284, requesting additional funding from the local legislative office to assist with various projects and programs as per the work session discussion as well. 285, approving designated year 2023 bingo license application 22302. 286, decreasing a change fund in the municipal court. 287, authorizing the sale of surplus property number no longer needed, rather, for public use on an online auction site as per the work session discussion. Any questions or comments on any resolutions from any council members? If not, we'll go into the audience, not required by law, but it's our practice to allow any comments on any resolution. If anyone has any, they could give their name and address into the record.
Good evening. Dr. Phil Newfield, 68 Decatur Avenue, Seaside Park. Can I ask a question regarding the first reading, ordinance 2023-16? Am I allowed to ask a question?
This is on resolutions. This is any comments on resolution?
I'll bring it up under the general comments portion.
It's first reading, I don't know if you can you?
You don't, first reading, there's no discussion. I mean, you can accept, there's public comment, but we can't do any discussion.
Another question. You identify the name of the contractor that had the high bid?
Koutzis. Yeah, it's in there. George Koutzis. It's George Koutzis Painting and Construction LLC.
Okay, thank you.
Sure.
Any other comments on any of the resolutions? Hearing none, I'd close the public portion and I'd entertain a motion from council as a consent agenda. Motion by Council President DeMichael, second by Councilmember Kraft. Roll call.
Council President DeMarco?
Yes.
Councilmember Kraft?
Yes.
Councilmember Welch?
Yes.
Councilmember Condon?
Yes.
Councilmember Dr. McKee?
Yes.
Councilmember Armadale?
Yes.
Motion approved.
And that concludes the resolution agenda. Any other questions or comments from council members? If not, we'll go into the audience if there are any public comments or questions. Yes, Shirley?
Shirley Pestle, 700 North Bayview Avenue. Let's start with the bay. When we flooded the other day, did I see you walking by? Somebody was looking around.
No, I did not.
Did any of you go down to the bay when we were flooding? I'm talking about council. Yeah, I know you did.
I did.
Okay, if you notice, I Street, it just flows over. And the water just keeps coming. We're not doing anything to just block it temporarily. Why can't something be put there? How about the big things that they use around here for the arts and crafts sale? Not the plastic, but there are cement ones. Why can't they be placed right there just to stop that water?
From eroding the road away underneath.
It's just from flooding us.
I agree.
Because it just
Didn't we make a
comes.
request on that?
Yeah.
We did make a
We
request.
asked the Dawson County to provide that.
We absolutely did, yes.
And what did they say?
We're still waiting, I guess, to hear back from them, but yeah, we made that request, I think, probably about 2 weeks ago. or so.
Yeah, like a week after the suggestion.
You brought it up?
Yeah, and for the
Okay.
exact ones, the larger
Right. Just to,
cement.
now also, and I know the street was raised and that's all nice and fine, we still have the water coming up the storm drain. Now, a while ago, a couple, 3, 4 years ago, the county had agreed to help with the outflows. We still have the old broken outflows, we still have the water coming up the storm drains. If that were to be stopped, we wouldn't have nearly the amount of flooding we do right now in Bayfront. Why haven't we reached out to the county to get together with them and do those outflows correctly?
The county's gonna be doing some work, I think, on I Street.
My understanding, the check valves were put in those drains.
Yeah.
But not,
It doesn't make a difference about the outflow if the check valve is in the drain itself.
I was told it was not, it's not right there where we're getting the problem. So now we got these, I disagree with that, but I'll look into
What we're
it.
being told,
That was the answer I was giving when I asked the answer.
and Marty, you're
Yes.
not, you could correct me if I'm
Yeah,
wrong,
please.
but, it doesn't take much for these things to stop working.
I understand that.
Two different kind of check valves. Take a couple of pebbles and the whole thing just won't work.
The bottom line is without any head pressure, the road is too low, we're almost on a flat pitch.
I know.
The check valves are not going to work. I mean, we've spoken to everyone about it. If you get one little stone in there, it's not gonna close. You're just not, it's almost level grade. I sympathize, I respect everything you're saying, because I also have property right on the water, as you know. I truly don't think those check valves will work.
I thought there was one that was put in that was working experimentally. Matt, do you remember that?
That was the, M Street, they had done the test, and there was another one done that was working.
Okay, yeah.
And that was like the sample one that was done a few years back, and then
Right.
the ones that were kind of in the process of being changed, I believe they did the majority of them.
Was that the same company that we had looked into?
The Tide Flex is the one that we decided to go with, which was that company.
I think I do believe they're further south.
Yeah, I don't know if they completed down where you were, but I think there was at least a couple of them down there,
They were.
you know, so we never got.
But that particular, high tide that we had, the water basically came right over the high curve and went around. and
Yeah, it wasn't coming over the wall where I am.
Seeped its own level.
Yeah, and of course, I Street just adds everything to it.
But they are, this is what I was talking about, they are coming up I Street, I understand. They're gonna redo I Street, isn't that correct?
Redoing.
I heard that they are having a lot of complaints about that street because there's a lot of puddling, right, Karen?
It's a county street,
Yeah,
and the county, they've already had surveyors out there, so
That's correct.
so that might be a good time to, you
Do
know,
something with that part.
that's,
Right.
Yeah.
I did walk the flooding, to answer your question, but I did not go past your house, but it was amazing how many fish were in the street.
Yeah,
There were.
yeah, I didn't get any jellyfish this time, like I did before. Let's get to the oyster cages that we're going to, break the wave action. If we break up, is that part of the holdup? Or is it in closer that the FEMA, or whoever is stopping, not FEMA, but whoever is stopping the project? Where's the project being stopped at?
Army Corps of Engineers.
Right, but is it the cages that are going way out, or is it just what's in close?
Subaquatic vegetation.
It's the, right, it's for establishing the environment that's going to be productive for that grass.
For the grass in closer? Isn't it possible to at least go ahead with the cages to break the wave action? To start something until we get permission with the closer stuff?
It's really inclusive of the entire
Yeah,
project.
it's a big project.
It has to be
It's all
done.
inclusive, but
It's-
one final permit that pushes the whole project
Okay, so you
forward.
can't break it.
Right.
Okay. And then one more thing on the street being done and everything, and I don't know, I think Fritz, you were kind of more involved in the street thing, because I don't know if Earl's been paid everything yet, but they still have to come back to my property, and, they haven't yet. So, I don't know, Fritz, if you're the one, or myself, it's your
As far as I know, I've been working that project, so I
Right.
don't know.
they came out on the day after Labor Day with their
Right.
final punch list.
Right.
I actually saw them on your property.
Yes, I talked to the gentleman, really nice, and he was very upset with what happened with the siding around my garage door. He said he wanted for them to give him this certain bottle or stuff that would remove it, and they said, no, they would rather replace the white vinyl around my garage. And he said, because this cement never should have been splattered all over this. The house he got cleaned off, but he was very annoyed with that, and he said, we'll be coming out to replace the white vinyl.
Yeah.
Can I really talk to Art? You should talk to the engineer about that.
Yeah, I mean, the gentleman was very nice and said he didn't realize why some of this was done the way it was, cleaned everything up except for that. So I thought they were coming back in a week or two.
Sounds like we'll follow up with,
It was from Earl? Which
Yeah.
company? Earl?
Yeah, when they were finishing up the project.
We did that as a G and H Street Together project, so, I don't know, are there?
I mean, I'm in rush, if they're doing it when they do I Street, that's fine, but I don't want them to forget.
So Shirley, what exactly did they need to put back
It's the
on?
white vinyl trim around the garage. They have to remove what's there, because it got splattered way up with cement. And he was more upset over it than I was. But they couldn't get it off. So he said that the boss said they were going to replace the white trim. We'll follow up. Okay, and thank you, Fritz, for your work on it.
Thank you. Yeah, that's one of many we've done, along the road, we've used that DOT money. So it's, yeah, it's been, and going through, what, six administrators since I've been on, I've worked under 6 different administrators. And so, yeah, I kind of feel like I'm responsible for keeping that thing going, all those things getting going, because, you know, nobody was in charge. Now thankfully, we have somebody like Karen that can take the reins, but to keep it on track, yeah, I had to do a lot of work on these projects.
Thank you.
Any other public comment? Yes, sir.
Mike Spadafino, existing work.
We can hear you.
Mike Spadafino, 15 9th Avenue, council candidate. All I want to do is ask that, I know you can't say anything now, but on these issues of these first readings of the 2.6 million, in the next work session, it would be nice if you explained to the attendees, where was the old well, where's the new well? Is it going to just be replaced, and maybe what circumstances brought it about? Would be nice to let us know as we go into the second reading. And on the first reading of the 68,000 resolution, it would be nice if the work session would also explain to us, you know, where is that money going to be placed, and you know, in the mitigation process. That would be very nice. The only other thing I would like to find out is, I couldn't find the minutes, something happened. I just wanted to find out what happened to Councilman McHugh's resolution about the parking lot 1 and 2. Was that like passed to be moved to the engineering, or was that like, we got the money and we're gonna start it and it's gonna be done in April? You know, so I know you don't have to answer me, but I just couldn't figure out if that resolution was done and
I can answer
what
you.
the status is.
I can answer you.
Oh, good, thank you.
That resolution was to have one of our engineering firms, we have 3 different engineering firms, we try to ideally have them compete for different things,
Yeah.
but some are better at certain jobs than others. This went to CME, and that authorized him, the firm, to come up with some plans for the lot and estimate costs, what have you. But that's it really.
So it's going to proceed because the resolution said we're going to proceed.
Yes, so that firm is working on plans right now, and once we get them, someone will carry them forward, most likely not me.
Good.
It'll come back though here for your,
No, thank you.
Yeah, and the other's a long story, I'm gonna have to, has to do with well 10, and it's a long story. I'll sit down with you if you want someday and tell you all about it.
I would appreciate that.
Okay.
Judy?
June Corson, SB 114H. On the code of fees that you just passed tonight, does the 10 years start now?
The 10 years we start with installation.
Yeah.
But I don't even remember when my plaque was installed, so I don't know when
The hearing was under the old ordinance, which was
Your
20.
grandfather,
Grandfather.
I want grandmother.
grandmother.
Grandmother,
That's 20 years
I'll have 20 years, okay, thank you.
from when it
And
installed.
So come back in 20 years and ask us.
You need your receipt though, stay with you.
if I come back in 20 years, it'll be to haunt you.
Don't do that.
Again, Phil Newfield, 68 Decatur Avenue. I don't want to go into the weeds on this, but again, I think no one in this room could agree more that we need to do something on the bay. You know, I don't think anybody in this room would disagree with that. Shirley really articulated well the need for something short-term as well as long-term. Long-term being the SAV project. short term, she brought up some important issues that I hope you will address. And Mike mentioned the 68,500. You know, how's that money going to be spent with regard to mitigation? So I encourage you to please do that, as Mike suggested. We need to make this a community collaboration. Everybody needs to get involved and try to come up with solutions, because if you walked around in that area two weeks ago, it was just horrible. There was an actual kayak going down. Bayview. I mean, it's ridiculous. What's that? Okay, thank you very much.
Any other public comments? Hearing none, yes, sir.
Yes, I have some comments. I'm Jim Zabosky, 77 Stockton Avenue, Seaside Park, 27 years. I'm a registered Republican and I'm a veteran. And I've been dealing with an issue myself for well over a year. And although the financial end of it may not be that important, I find it's significant. And what I'm talking about is last year, you had an inspector, Gary Strzok, who, because of his incompetence, I had to pay a second fee to have him come back and give us a sticker. Now, there's no question he's incompetent. I spent 55 years in instruction, and I'm also a former T&M senior engineering inspector. So I know what all there is to do about the building, and he certainly did. He knew nothing about building. He was an incompetent. And my question to all of you is, how did he get by? How could you hire him? I understand from the advocate's report that the mayor was given, that he was recommended by Steve Zabosky. The mayor was given special permission by the committee to hire him under a closed door, and that's how he was hired. Any credit check would prove that all his preferences were false. He never went to Fairleigh Dickinson, never. And if anyone talked to him about construction, you'd see that he doesn't know anything about construction. So that person was hired here, and he was given a salary, and he cost not me, but my neighbors and your constituents thousands of dollars, because they had to go out and they had to have surveys done again because of this guy, because they couldn't get a sticker passed through him. He wouldn't put it through, and they didn't want to they had our lawyers to go over their property again and bring it back because this guy didn't want to give them COs. That's what damage he did to the town, to your constituents and my neighbors. And me, that's $50. My wife paid it, I wouldn't pay it. I'd have taken him to court and taken him to the woodshed because he didn't know anything. And then, to top all things off, I find out that you, the township committee, paid this, and he was under indictment by the attorney general or the county prosecutor. That you paid him, after you fired him, $34,400 in the settlement. And I ask you, how in God's name could you pay a fraudulent person who cost taxpayers thousands of dollars because of his incompetence? How could you give him a settlement of $34,000? Why didn't you sue him to get the money he took from this town fraudulently and file complaints because he committed fraud on the government of this town? He should have been prosecuted for that. And why didn't Mr. Zabosky take it and file charges against him? Why still haven't you tried to recover that money? And why did you pay him $34,400 additional dollars when he was fired? Now, that's all I have to say. I'd like to hear some answers from all of you, or each of you, because I can't for the life of me figure out how in the hell that could happen. How in God's name could you do that to us? You hired the incompetent guy, it cost taxpayers thousands of dollars, and then you give him a $34,000 $400 settlement. Why? Give me one reason why. Why didn't you prosecute him and get the money that he was paid by the town? He got his job fraudulently. Did anyone ever run a credit check on him? And if you sound like I am angry. $50, that really got me mad. And I would have never paid it except for one person. He didn't want to take it downtown. So I would like to know how the attorney, Stephen Zabosky, could recommend this guy. He worked in Island Heights before. I guess they let him go in Island Heights, and as I understand it, Mr. Zabarski or his firm represented Island Heights, so he had knowledge of this guy, I believe. Maybe he didn't. I don't know if he did. But if he had knowledge of him and he was doing business in Island Heights, who's the guy related to? How could he get a job here? If he didn't relate it, I'm not accusing anybody of doing anything illegal. But I'm accusing everybody of not doing the job. And I want to know what you're going to do to rectify it. Are you going to go get that $34,000 back? Are the rest of the people in town that paid $6,000, it's $8,000 for attorney fees, and to have their property surveyed again, and I can tell you a bunch of them, and you probably know, are you going to give them their money back? No, you gave $34,400 to a criminal, a fraudulent guy. Why? Please tell me why. And I am upset. I'm upset that he was allowed to get away and do this to the town, and that he was allowed to be hired here. And I'm very upset at that. It cost a lot of my friends in this town a lot more money than me. And I said I'd go to court on him because he could tear him apart in 1 minute. That guy didn't know anything about construction. All he knew how to do was make phony resumes for a town. And why did he get hired under a closed door? Didn't anyone ever look him up, look his credentials? And I looked at the township application, and I look at it, and I don't see anywhere on there where it doesn't say, anything you produce here and anything you tell us, if it's false and fraudulent, you will be prosecuted. You can go to jail for X amount of years for lying to the town, and you will be fined X amount of dollars. It's not on the application. Why? I don't see it on there. Maybe I'm wrong. If I'm wrong, I apologize. But I don't see it on the township application. How could that be? Tell me how that phony got through. How did he last that long? Because of that, we could finally do the risk on it. Please, please, somebody give me an answer. $50 got me to come here, and the rest of the things. Does anybody have an answer?
They can't, it's a personnel matter.
Excuse me?
It's a personnel matter.
I know, personnel matter.
Yes,
Yes, that's what you said.
Personnel matter, that's
So you
correct.
can't talk about it. Well, tell me, how do we find out how a personnel matter got $34,400? Because that's a township matter. How did that personnel matter take the township's money and pay it to this individual? Personnel had to come to the town to get the money because the personnel manager doesn't have any money, so you had to come here. So how did he get the money? Had to get it from the town, came out of my pocket, and the rest of the friends and neighbors in town. You didn't pay him, Mr. Zabarski. The town did. Personnel matter. That doesn't float. Doesn't. Do you think that's a proper answer? It's personnel matter. We don't care how we spend your money. It's okay. It's a personnel matter. Therefore, I'm the card. Boom. Okay. Next question. Personnel matter. Boom.
I think he said
Well, that-
9 minutes.
You know, the carpet's probably filled up to here already. You can't put a desk on it or a chair. Well, what's the answer? Personnel matter, Mr. Zabarski. Now I ask you directly. Did you know Gary Strout personally before you recommended him for the job? Is that a personnel matter?
I'm not here to answer your questions. I represent the mayor and council and give them legal advice.
Oh, so you can't answer it?
No, I'm not.
Oh, you're not.
No.
Let me answer it for you. Yes. Okay. Anybody else? Nobody has an answer? Do you have an answer?
I do not.
Did you know about it?
Personnel issue.
Personnel issue? No, personnel issue. Well, can we bring that out of the personnel issue? So when you make a settlement like the over $600,000 that you paid to all these township administrators in the last 6 years, they got over $600,000 in settlements. I think they said, let's all go to work at Seaside Park because we're administrative, we work 6 months and we collect $100,000. That's a personnel matter too. Well, when do the taxpayers get a chance to find out how you're spending our money in personnel matters, Mr. Zabarski? When do we taxpayers get to find out how you're spending our money? It's not your money. It's all of our money. Tell me. Mr. Zabarski, I'm not going to ask any questions. I know it's a personnel matter. Nobody has any answers?
I wasn't the attorney that does the personnel.
I'm sad to hear this.
I don't know, I mean, I'm not sure what answer you'd like to get. I mean, as a person on the personnel committee, I mean, I've only been on the council this year, so I started in January. I'm personally not familiar with the gentleman you're speaking of. I understand your point, but I don't think that we can speak about him directly, nor some of the items you brought up.
But I understand your point about wanting to know why monies got paid out, if you believe some.
What about the sunshine law? What about the sunshine law?
Well, I think the things under sunshine law are the things that we cover in work sessions and public sessions, when people are hired, when people come off, when we have people who resign or are let go. Those are all public
What, how does
meeting
it-
items that we cover. I don't know enough about this particular one to give you any more.
but how does personnel get the right to spend their money that way and make these services without coming to the taxpayers? How does personnel matter so we can spend all your money? If you can't do anything about it, then you can't find out about it. Because if you ask about it, the township attorney says, I represent the town, I represent it, and I can't speak about it. So we have a whole personnel department over here that does whatever they want to do, spends whatever they want to spend. We can't.
That's
find
not
out.
really a true statement. I don't know what more I could say, but everybody who's hired does come through the borough. I don't believe, and you could correct me if I'm wrong, Sandra or Steve, but every hire has to go on.
Actually, Gene Cipriani handles the labor and the personnel matters. I don't. Give advice to the mayor and council on personnel or labor matters. It's handled by Ms. Cipriani.
Well, I'm saying that they do come through the council.
Of course.
So it's not done in a closed door
It goes-
matter
Well, I ask you.
when people are getting hired or resigned or.
Well, I'll ask you again, it's the township's money, it's not the council's money.
Understood.
It belongs to, the money you spend is all of us, friends and neighbors. So how do we find out why personnel matters are closed to the public that pays whatever the personnel decides to give someone that put, or was it phony and a fraud? How do we find out about that? We're paying it. You tell me we can never find out about it because it's a personnel matter. So if I want to do something here on the committee and I don't want anyone to find out about it, I say, let's make it a personnel matter, boom, it's over there, you can't talk about it. So how do we find out why these settlements was made, especially to Gary's Drive? That's the one I care about. How do we find out why personnel paid in that money? You telling me as a taxpayer, I don't have the right to that information?
I'm not, this
Just,
issue.
I came in here, I thought this was a place for free speech. I thought we ran free speech, and I thought as a taxpayer in a town that I love, that you guys were open. Tell us the truth. Don't hide behind, it's a personnel matter. I can't talk about that because it's a personnel matter, that stinks. How do we find out then how that money was paid? We have the right to know why that money was paid to Mr. Straw. We have the right to know it. What decision prompted this committee, Mr. Zabarski, to pay that money to him? I'm sorry you think this is funny, Mr.
I don't think it's funny at all.
Why are you laughing?
No, I'm not laughing.
Oh, you aren't?
No.
Well, these people will tell you if you were laughing. Ask them.
Good.
Ask them if you weren't laughing and snickering about it.
I think we've exhausted all we can say, to be
Thank you
honest.
very
Thank
much,
you
sir.
for what you
Well, I'm not
asked.
done with this. I still want someone to give me an answer on how we find out how this personnel matter got to
Any
this
over,
point.
but I-
I'm gonna do that. On behalf of the rest of the people, thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Any other public comments? Yes, sir.
Ladies and gentlemen, how are you this evening? Just want to share a couple of,
I'm sorry, name and address for the record.
Juan Tenero, 57 Decatur Avenue, Seaside Park, New Jersey. So no disrespect to you, you work for T&M, but I want to speak about T&M Associates. T&M Associates, well, first I want to start off with, as far as I know, this town does not have a pay-to-play ordinance in place. I believe that to be true. Most towns.
Actually, last time I was on council, last year I was on, I've actually pushed, you guys probably remember that, I pushed through a pay-to-play ordinance, and the very new council that came in, the very first thing they did was negate it.
That's unfortunate. That's very unfortunate, so thank you for your efforts to do that.
Politics is a dirty deal.
Then as you know, most towns down here in Jersey, and in many areas throughout New Jersey, have an ordinance in place, and basically, the rock bottom of it is, anybody that contributes more than $300 to a campaign cannot do business within the town for about it 1 year. And that includes engineering firms, contractors, anybody else. And this is an election year, and I've done a little bit of homework on that. I noticed that Mr. Peterson and his committee of candidates have accepted $2,600 from T&M Associates, Remington and Vernick, Majors. I can do a laundry list of $2,600 contributions. But T&M bothers me particularly. T&M Associates has a notorious habit of pay-to-play throughout New Jersey and Pennsylvania, and I think maybe New York. T&M Associates bribed 2 mayors in Pennsylvania. Both of those mayors went to prison. The associate for T&M that did the bribing got 5 years probation. This is the same T&M Associates that's doing business here in Seaside Park, New Jersey. This is the same T&M Associates that has contributed to the mayor's campaign. This is the same T&M Associates that I read recently is going to be handling the engineering, of course, no bid, which is unfortunate, for the board replacement. I believe the replacement of the boards is being handled by T&M Associates at a cost not to exceed $206,000. Now, I too, as the gentleman in the back, have been in construction and facilities, worked for King University in the city of Elizabeth. Was second in command in both of those places and had dealt with engineering and contractors significantly. $206,000 is an obscene figure for what T&M is going to provide for replacement of boards in Seaside Park. The scope of work in that is obscene.
It's just not replacing boards, sir.
No. They're not replacing.
Mischaracterizing the project.
No.
This is, and the reason he was hired, the reason that the charge they were given was to put in a bid that's being, for money that is, or to come up with plans so we can apply for grant
Scope
money.
of work, correct?
Yes, that's the purpose behind that. It's not.
$206,000?
Excuse me?
At a cost of $206,000?
I don't know, I'm a veterinarian. If you really want to care, if you want to really take charge of this, why don't you, with your background, you'd be a great one. Run for office, come up here, you can be in charge of engineering.
I've been encouraged by many people,
Well, then
but
do it.
unfortunately, I don't live in
Then do it,
Seaside
but to
Park.
sit there,
I own a house.
I do too, and I've lived here a long time.
Seaside Park, Baytown,
I do
own a house in
too.
Towns River, Addison, and other
Good
places.
for you. But I own a house in Seaside Park, and that's what I care about. And my charge is to watch the money and take care, and make the best decisions for the taxpayers in the Seaside Park, and I've done that honorably.
No, I'm not accusing you.
Well, you yelled, and I said, oh, I'll take it kindly.
Oh, you know something?
I don't care.
That's a bad
I'm
attitude.
not gonna be told.
That's a bad attitude.
Well, don't
You should be
sit there and
concerned, you should be concerned
and
about
criticize us.
$2,600 contributions from a
Not me.
that the mayor should have been better.
Well, that's not elected to other individuals. Don't include me.
And send it back to T&M.
Don't
And do the
include
right
me.
thing and send it.
You thinking that game's everything? You know, everyone's been around.
Supposed to pay your salary too.
No,
Everybody's
you can take my salary out of there. Get out of here. Don't give me
Give me a
that.
break.
But every engineer you've been in this business long enough, you know they're all like that, not just T&M, and that's been in my,
So basically, pay to pay them, because we know what the definition of it is. It's legalized corruption. That's what pay to play is, and you know that's the.
That's why I passed the ordinance against paying. Don't recruit
I wish you could have convinced your colleagues here then to have passed that ordinance. Obviously, you didn't do your job well enough.
Oh, yeah, of course I did.
All right.
Yeah, you get up here and you do it.
You know something?
I've got 2 months left and I'm out here. Because I don't want to listen to people like you.
Good for you. That's right. Your taxes are gonna go up just as much because of all the corruption.
You get up here and you do the job.
And that's all there is to it. Listen, it wasn't that great of a job that everybody up here has done. Some of it good, some of it really bad. But anyway, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, sir.
Respectfully, maybe you didn't vet T and M, and I do mean this from my heart. Maybe you didn't vet T and M and find out what was going on at the time as far
Maybe I
as.
did what to you now?
Vet T and M Associates before you accept contributions from them, because if you had, perhaps you would not have accepted contributions from an organization that obviously has 2 mayors in prison in Pennsylvania. I would ask you respectfully that maybe we should stop doing business with T&M here in Seaside Park because of that. You know, it has that semblance of just impropriety, and perhaps encourage you to return that fundraising money to T&M and cease all business here in Seaside Park with T&M. I won't speak about the other engineering firm, but T&M, again, it's a rough spot with me. And I'm really troubled by the amount of money that they're gonna get paid for the board, scope of work for the board project. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir, and I certainly appreciate and thank Dr. McHugh for his comments.
Oh, absolutely. It was
Dr.
very
McHugh and
good.
my family go back 2 or 3 generations in the borough of Seaside Park, a town both of us love very much and want to see prosper and succeed and be preserved in the future. Any other public comments? Hearing none, I'll close the public portion. I'd entertain a motion.
So moved.
Motion by Councilman Beck, Mr. Mayor, second by Councilman Hamilfield. Roll call.
Councilmember Kraft?
Yes.
Councilmember Amadale?
Yes.
Councilmember Condos?
Yes.
Councilmember Dr. McKim?
Yes.
Councilmember Wood?
Yes.
Council President Michael?